between the two teams.
The rivalry was intense.
We hated the Celtics.
What happens when an age-old rivalry becomes a championship battle for the ages?
We knew it was going to be a dogfight.
This was one of those games.
Bill with his defense, Bibby with his scoring, the G-Man with rebounding.
The Knicks and Celtics 1973 Eastern Conference Final.
Well, the Knicks always resented the Celtics. There's no question about that. Lo and behold, the Knicks jump up with a very good basketball team in the late 60s, win a couple of championships, and that's when things started to heat up. Particularly when I was coaching in the 70s, when you look at the kids that all went to BU and BC, they were all Knicks fans. They couldn't get a seat at Madison Square Garden, so they come here to the Boston Garden and root for the Knicks. And it really developed into a great rivalry.
Two great teams, and they played the game right. They always played the game right in Boston, you know. And it was always a feather in your cap if you could beat them. You didn't do it too much, but you always try and do that. Of course, they came to New York and played very well. So it was just a good rivalry. Just great hard-fought basketball between two great teams.
When I played, it was a great rivalry. You know, you had specific rivalries within the rivalry. You had Havlicek and Bill Bradley. You had DeBusschere and myself. Of course, Cowens and Reed, JoJo White and Frazier, Cheney and Monroe. And it was just a great series. But it was a great rivalry between.
The Knicks were set for another classic matchup with the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Number 35, Paul Silas. Number 18, Dave Cowens. JoJo White. Dave DeBusschere. Bradley. Captain Willis Reed. And Walt Frazier.
Boston Celtics team with the best record in the league, led by Dave Cowens, John Havlicek, and JoJo White.
I always liked playing in Boston. The parquet floor, the hallowed walls, all the banners hanging from the ceiling, very intimidating.
Celtic fans are crazy.
There was a ring around Boston Garden, which is kind of a pedestrian ring. So to get to the court, we had to fight our way through the crowd.
I grew up as a Celtic fan, but, you know, when you come in there as an enemy, man, they come to mash you out of there.
Going out at halftime, there was beer poured on us.
It looked like monsters out there coming to get you.
There are animals up there, Phil.
I don't think they're animals.
The Celtics were the favorite, but surprisingly...
With the new players all contributing, the Knicks veterans were rested and ready for the playoffs. Willis was finally healthy, and the aging Knicks knew that this title run could be their last. But the conference finals would prove to be a more difficult obstacle, and the Knicks would need heroic efforts from everyone if they were to get by the favored Celtics.
Tight by Jackson, cross-court White. White has the ball stolen by Jackson!
In Game 4, Phil Jackson's hustle helped the Knicks pull out a pivotal double overtime victory and take a commanding series lead.
You must understand, we were up 3-1 against Boston. And they were able to pull out games 5 and game 6. No one had ever beaten Boston in the 7th game in the Boston Garden.
Behind a full team effort, the Knicks jumped out to a 3-1 lead.
That's the score. An emotional victory for the New York Knicks. They do it in double overtime.
That particular season, we went 68-14, which was only one game off the record at the time.
After blowing a 3-1 game lead, now they have to go to Boston and win a game 7.
You don't win on the road. A 7th game in a place like we were playing in.
The Knicks traveled to Boston, trying to become the first visitor ever to win a Game 7 at the Boston Garden.
And it comes to DeBusschere again. Hits!
He was good.
DeBusschere to the head of the foul circle. Cuts right, driving hook, yes!
He liked playing against the Celtics, too.
It was a piece of Celtic history that the Knicks would now rewrite. Memminger would come off the bench like a whirlwind to ignite the Knicks. And with Clyde pushing the offense into high gear, New York convincingly defeated Boston on its home floor, dealing a painful blow to the Celtic playoff mystique. A second title was almost within reach.
With their Game 7 victory over the Celtics,
Final score 94-78. Wasn't even a game second half. Knicks win. Great triumph for the Knicks.
Run off the court,
into the locker room. Here's Red. He's already there. He's going, yes, yes. It was the most emotion I ever saw him express.
It was the sweetest victory in the history of the Knicks.
Farewell, Coach Steve. Red was so animated after the game. He's jumping up and down in the locker room. He's throwing fists. And no one had ever seen Red do that. Because it was beating the Celtics, and it was beating Red Auerbach. There was a real rivalry between those two guys.